Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very exciting, very science fiction-filled Tuesday evening here on the Dot Lot. We are, in fact, live! And I am so excited to be here playing Scum and Villainy. Let me just tell you guys, I have been eyeballing Scum and Villainy for quite a while, and I'm really excited because I have had about 3 campaigns floating around in my head, and finally I broke down and I tried, I put it out there for the world. I was like, you know what, let me just put some other sci-fi options out there. Here's something for you, Patreon, here's something for you, Facebook, and every place was like, play Scum and Villainy. So here we are. Every vote out there voted Scum and Villainy. So, we're here, rolling dice, playing Scum and Villainy, with new faces for the Dot Lot. And I'm going to go around and let them introduce themselves, but before I do, I want to remind you, if you're not already following the channel, please do so. It costs you nothing, and you get to know when we go live and play more tabletop RPGs and tell stories, which is what this channel is all about. I'm Dot, and I'm super, super stoked that you're here. So I'm going to pass the torch and let everybody kind of tell us who they are, and give me a brief introduction of who your character is for those of you at home that want to know more. You can actually scroll down below to the extension here on Twitch, and you can choose the Purloin code campaign in the little extension. It'll tell you all about these characters. You get to see some bitchin' artwork from my friend Myrtle Joseph here, who's an Atlanta-based artist. So let's actually start with Drop the Die.
Hello, everyone. I'm Drop the Die, also JB. You know me on Twitter and all that good stuff. This is my first time playing with Dot after we met at D&D Live 2019. It was super great. I am not super huge on sci-fi criminals, but I'm going to give it a shot. Right? I'm playing Hanovi Hyde Hama. He is of Native American descent, Choctaw in origin. And I just like the idea of some representation out in space. A lot of white people there.
And aliens.
Growing up on asteroids and space stations all around, where the community has to band together to stay alive. There's no strip mining on an asteroid that's full of young people and elderly. He got into a bad mix with some people and ended up in kind of a sticky situation. And now he's actually working for the Purloin Guild. He's here to keep an eye on our other 3 intrepid adventurers.
Which, they all come from, let's say, troubled
I don't think
stories.
There's an option that's not troubled.
Yeah, that's true. You're either Scum or you're a villain.
You level up by being more troubled.
That's
so
true.
Things just keep getting.
That's so true. Speaking of trouble, Oh Adelaide is back. From a Sunday Fun Day to a Purloin Code. I'm so excited you're here.
I am super thrilled to be here. I have been waiting for this day for quite some time. I'm Adelaide. You can find me on Adelaide Twitter. That's OH in front of my name. Pretty simple. So I'm playing Midge Ryle. She goes by Slip almost exclusively because she's just a little slip of a thing. She is the captain of the ship and owner, and also the mechanic. So she grew up as a colonist. She's some poor colonist workers. Found her way through the junkyards as a runner, and managed to get a job as a civilian contractor with the military, where she left the planet and started her own little adventure. Ran into some gambling problems and found the military life, although it got her the budget to get all the parts that she wanted and all the experience that she needed, wasn't really for her. So she took another big, huge gamble and got the ship. Rescued her brother from some trouble, got the crew together, and now they're off adventuring the universe. So, not a very
You've made it sound so like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like fairy tale-tastic? It was like, and now we travel the universe, but what we failed to tell you is we work for a top secret mercenary agency. I love it.
Talk about the Purloin.
Shh, we don't talk about it. Awesome. Another new face to the channel. Jason, how are you?
I am fantastic. It's great to be here. I've been so excited for this. Sadly, I'm all upset because only like half of my cosplay showed up, so I'm freaking out over that. But it is what it is. I'll have the rest next week. I will be playing Janus Deadeye Volkar, a sort of wandering miscreant that has been bouncing around from station to station, and on a job before he joined this crew, ran awry with the Purloin Guild, and now he's stuck essentially being babysit by the lovely Hyde. And just so you know, Mike, we're not really criminals until we get caught, right? But yeah, that is show.
Well, this ought to be interesting. I actually read up on the PC versus PC rules today because I was like, oh, I have a feeling it's coming. I have a feeling it's gonna happen. And last but certainly not least, a face that is not necessarily new, but always smiling on the dot lot. We're so happy to have you here, Trooper.
Hello, it is I, Trooper SJP, and I'm a gamer, GM, hanging out, giving love to the dot lot. You can find me at Trooper SJP on my channel, or on Academic Foxhole on Twitter. And the big thing is that I'm going to be GMing Cthulhu Confidential on Sunday at noon on my channel with Jackie Dash, and it's Noir Cthulhu, 1 GM, 1 player. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
It's going to be fun, but I'm extra excited about the game today, and I'll be playing Dev Wallflower Ryle, the little brother of Slip Midge Ryle. I'm the pilot, and I'm about 23, and Midge and I grew up, sort of in slums on a colony planet, and we're good kids. The neighborhood was not a great neighborhood, though, and sometimes you get in trouble or you try to avoid trouble. And I liked to hot rod hover car race, and one day the gangs said that I had to throw the most important race of my life as a young teenager, and I decided not to. So that was probably not a good choice. I won, that was great, but then I had to leave the planet real fast. And my sister got me off to military pilot school so I could become an official good pilot. Military life was good, but Dev is not, whose call sign is Wallflower, is not particularly hoorah, hardcore, gung-ho, and was taken out. It got given the opportunity to leave the military and join his sister on her ship and work for the mysterious Purloin Guild. And hopefully we can earn enough money to help our poor parents back on the colonies have a better life.
So sad.
They're good parents, though.
They are good parents. Well, let's see. I mean, when was the last time you went home?
We haven't been home in a while.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You don't even go home for the holidays, do you?
No.
Space is a big place, Mom. Okay, so we're all very super stoked to be here. For those of you that may just be tuning in or dropping by, we are in fact playing some Scum and Villainy. I have written kind of an original world that we're going to be playing in with some original concepts kind of stacked on top of the beautiful tabletop RPG that is Scum and Villainy. Before we hop right into the game, because, that's how I do things, I want to remind everybody that there are tons of ways to support the channel, and most importantly, this pink bar. You guys see it right there? It's, like, over there somewhere. Okay. That pink bar, or circle, really, once it fills, once it's no longer pink, consequences happen. This is Scum and Villainy, correct? And let's be honest, these people live their lives kind of on the edge, and especially the ones that have chosen to join the Purloin Guild. So when you make a donation to the channel via buttons below, here I'll even drop one in chat just because I'm feeling saucy, you can support, and when you do, and that bar fills, consequences will happen.
Good consequences?
No, I'm sorry. There are no such thing in Scum and Villainy. So,
we that get the consequences. You.
Oh, is that is backwards? Right.
And we get pie.
Right. Right. I also want to ask anyone, if you're not and you want to be more part of the dot lot, the best way to do that is to join the Discord. Pop down there, check it out. Yeah. So here we go. Let's hop right in. I've given our players a little bit of a prompt. I did this as we were kind of prepping. This is the ship that our crew owns. We have named it. Pilot, would you tell us, or actually, Captain, tell us what we've named the ship.
My ship is called Zero Gravitas.
It's Zero Gravitas. Zero Gravitas has been home to these 4 individuals who work for the Purloin Guild, which we'll learn a little bit more about, this secret organization. But most importantly, they've recently finished a mission, as they're wont to do. It's supposed to be their 7th one. All 6 leading up to this have been smooth sailing. Not this one. As they left a planet known as Bell Rock, which is a junk planet, and a place where prisoners and the most unwanted are dumped. Thank you out there for those donations. I see our bar is it's filling, yo. We're 20% there. Oh, thank you also for the subscriptions. The ship, as it left orbit, was attacked by a set of mercenary raiders. Now, what you were after is, of course, your secret to keep, for one of the Purloin codes. Most important is that you keep your jobs and what you do for the guild a secret. The ship combat was not necessarily in your favor, though you managed to wiggle your way out just at the end, and killed pretty much everybody on board the raider ship. But your ship took a lot of damage. A lot. And you've been floating through space for 2 days. Distress beacons were sent out. The Purloin Guild has yet to answer. And you're floating on the outer rim of what is known as the Byzanti Capuli system. And as you guys float here, your oxygen is getting low. All kind of life support and power have been running on very low for the last few days. And your AI system, which was put on board by the guild known as CIS, the Cerberus Intelligence System, as she begins to run low on power, she utters and constantly talks Purloin history. She rattles about through what seems to be almost like a textbook, I guess you could say, in her kind of voice. The year is 3901. 1,000 years ago, humans left the Milky Way galaxy. The Earth was full of resources, and many of planets like Mars provided water were also drained. And she continues kind of talking. What was left of humanity left, and began searching for new horizons. Unfortunately, the fleet was separated due to an unexpected... What remained delivered to the Byzanti Capuli system. 3 ships, prisoner holding, labor force, and cultural archives. 10% of the human race remained. And she kind of dwindles off again, muttering about, sputtering. 1,000 years later, humans have merged with the larger space stations and colonies on the planets here that support carbonated life. The president has held office for 300 years. She has only been seen 5 times. Under her reign and military, the word cannot be found. Its genesis. This secret mercenary guild became one of the most important steps in solidifying peace and mitigating open raiding and civilian safety. A green light goes to red, and Sis seems to possibly be sleeping.
Can one of y'all give her another slap? She's malfunctioning.
Bloody hell, if I have to hear that stupid automated thing rattle on about the Encyclopedia Galactica one more bloody time, I'm going to freak out and just fry it. I'm sick of it. Something's got to be done. We've got to get out of this. Excuse me. And he goes off and he grumbles to his little bag. He's got. You guys have noticed in the past couple days he hasn't eaten, because he has his own little private stash of illicit space drugs called Crystal, and it sort of mitigates his appetite. So.
Dev, who he's sort of racially sort of mixed. He's either very, very dark tan or light brown, and he's got blue hair in a sort of thick blue hair, and he's sort of dressed sort of fairly nicely. And he's sitting in the pilot's chair, and jacked into the console is a sort of a strange, well, not strange, just an old-looking teddy bear, sort of like attached.
Forgot
to
about this.
Yeah. Just attached to the console, sort of plugged in. And he's sitting there even though there's no power and there's nowhere to go. And he says, Sis? Sis?
The red light goes to green. And it like... Oh, wait, which sis?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. The red light goes to green and she says, yes, Dev.
How far away are we from a trade route?
There's a moment where you're not sure she's actually going to be able to answer. And then, again, the static kind of... At our current trajectory, we are 2 days and 4 hours away from a well-formed trade route.
Could you bring up the map so that I can have that offline just in case?
A holographic like HUD pops up on the front. I suspect you guys are, unless you want to be somewhere else, kind of standing near the cockpit area, which is kind of a convening space, I guess you would say. And you see the Byzanti Capuli system. 8 planets, large star, in the middle, larger than the current sun or the sun of the Milky Way. And it points to you. You're on the outer rim near a very small planet, and you have floated almost like outside of the map area, in fact. You do know that there is said, rumored to be, and you would know this as a pilot, once you get to the outside, there is said to be they call it the slingshot, but it's basically a traveling system along the outside where it will basically slingshot you from one side of the galaxy to another, but it is dangerous travel and not everybody makes it. They're not sure if it's technically a black hole or what it is, but it exists.
And when one takes the slingshot, where do they end up?
It throws you somewhere towards the opposite side of the system. This is not necessarily charted, so even Sis may not be able to tell you. The rumors that would be kind of general word of mouth, I guess you say, by the craziest like pilots and captains in the galaxy, say that it does drop you nearest one of the larger ringed planets. But it is still the outskirts. Like, you still have, like, 2 days travel through space just to get to the opposite side. But it is set to slingshot you around.
Sis, how much oxygen do we have left?
Life support is currently at 13% and falling.
I'm gonna come up behind Dev and put my hands on his shoulders and shake him. We're all gonna die!
Sis, I mean, Captain, come on. How many days is that?
Not long.
Yeah, Sis goes, she is correct. We have roughly 7 hours and 13 minutes.
Meantime, Janus is kind of walking up. He sees the holographic HUD that's displayed, and you look at him, and his pupil's clearly dilated, but so is his cybernetic eye. It's like, and he's like, "Holy shit, it's amazing!"
Your hand kind of totally goes through the HUD. It's definitely not touchscreen or anything. It's just kind of a projector type system.
He still feels something.
Knows it. Yeah. Sis says, oh, well, she doesn't actually know. She doesn't say anything. You watch the red light go to green. Or, I'm sorry, the green light go to red. As she turns off again to reserve power.
You got any more of them space puffs? I'm starving.
Captain, what's it look like on repairs?
Oh, and I kind of lean over and bang on the wall and call my my robotic gecko tank out from where he was fetching me a battery.
Nice. Click, 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 click. You hear his like metal little gecko feet like down the side of the metal.
No, not this one. It's about this big. There's a blue wire attached to it. You got to find that one. That's the processing coupler. Go get it. Go get it.
It kind of tips its head and like attempts to understand, I guess, and then like scutters back off in that direction. In terms of what you know as the mechanic for the ship, the current status is this. The backside of the ship itself has had the hull breached. You guys have closed it off. It is no longer airtight. It's causing the ship to drag a little bit, and obviously you've lost control of a lot of that. Any shields you had are currently down, and major power sources are down. The engine has been like harmed. So to fix it, you do have to put on a spacesuit and go outside. So that is what's one of the things that is taking so long. And just the lack of parts.
Well, I mean, if you want to give me more of your chewing gum, I can maybe do it about an hour faster, but there's power modulator, turbo thrust. I don't know, a couple more hours maybe. We're probably gonna die.
And when you say that, you guys have been floating through space a while, days. Something tings into the side of the ship, and you know it because it lets out that like deep thud that echoes through what is basically a metal canister right now, leading your eyes kind of all the way back to this place where you guys currently have the item that you removed from the surface of Bell Rock in the cargo hold. You have managed to keep it safe. Something just kind of a large item just tinged into the side of your ship, probably the size of I don't know, a couple, like a large crate of some kind, metal crate, you're not really sure, but it definitely was not small.
I bring up scanners.
You watch again, the percentage of life battery drops a little bit as it kind of scans the area. Sis comes online and she says, "We are currently floating through a large amount of debris. Seems to be chunks of a ship. Possibly the raider ship."
Why didn't you say this earlier?
I am conserving energy.
Well, I'm trying to conserve parts.
So it's not the cops.
Negative.
Sweet.
The
All right,
enforcers are not around. We are currently, like the HUD like scrolls like numbers, 2 days and 6 hours away from any humanoid life form.
Captain, if we could get, Sis, could you scan the wreckage? Are there any signals for perhaps power cores?
She says, "Would you like me to use power to open the front blaster shield?" There's like the front window of the ship where you can manually drive it is currently down because you guys were in combat.
Yes, please, Sis.
She like
Can it be lifted manually?
Yes, it can be lifted manually. It has to be done from the outside.
Oh, from the outside?
It's got like there's like a manual pull lever, but it's on the front end of the ship.
I didn't want to interrupt, but in the background, she's putting on her suit.
Nice. Yeah. Yes, so you would know that. You slip on a pretty crude space suit. Hello, all you new folk out there. And suit up, you check it. It's airtight. You've not had any issues with the suit. It was not damaged in combat. You're gonna have to depressurize one space to go to another. Where is everybody? You said
Who
that.
wore this last? This is disgusting.
I pat her on the back. Right, well, you can do it. Good job, Captain Mechanic, whatever. Yep, do it.
Dev is wearing a really nice spacesuit. His spacesuit is
Pristine.
it is pristine. It's impeccably tailored, and it's
ironed.
It is.
Now I just want to get blood all over it.
But it says on my character sheet that I have a really nice spacesuit.
But it
Fine.
doesn't say that it's sans blood.
It doesn't say that it's free from blood, but I mean.
Goals. Okay. Checking
Goals,
that.
goals.
Yep, writing that down. Okay.
My fine customized spacesuit. It's very nice. But he's got this helmet, so in case things go bad, they've got probably another half a day's worth of life support in their suits, if it gets to that. Maybe there's a power core or something we can scrounge in that debris field.
So as you say this and kind of turn around, you realize what you were looking at was out the front of the ship. They are clearly preparing your sister. You turn and nobody's even listening to you. But you do see, or you look out the front, and that's when you realize that they're going to go manually. Thanks, Gem Song, for that resub. Going to go manually do it. Sis, hearing this, stops, and there's kind of now just a crack, a tiny little crack in the windshield. It does let little to no light through. It reminds you how far away you are from this center star. And something tings into the front again, and you see it's like metal objects, pieces and parts, something like bangs into the front of it. Ryle.
You know how
Yep.
windows are a structural weakness?
Yes.
Would that debris harm our windows if our blast shield was up, or are we good?
I mean, technically this is a spaceship, so it's built for extreme pressure. So I'm not going to say if it were to break, it's going to take an extreme blast, not just something bumping into it. I would say you guys are floating. You've been floating for 2 days. So you're just kind of like gliding through space in essence. So I'd say no. In this case, you shouldn't worry too much about it. You are built as a decent. So, all right, you're suited up. You guys, you've been doing this on and off, trying to fix outside places on the ship, Midge, so you know you have to depressurize the back cabin, or second to last cabin. Once it's depressurized, you can open up into the one that is currently venting, basically, into space, which seems to be what would be like the partial cargo hold and the drop-down, like, rail piece that comes in to allow you to move things on and off the back of the ship. All of that is extremely damaged. And you pretty much float free the moment you hit this space. Here's what I'm going to need from you.
Okay.
I will say, well, how about this? You tell me what you're wanting to do once you're out here, and then I will tell you how we need to go about it.
Okay, so heading out the door, I kind of slip my head back in, and if I'm not back in 15, avenge my death and head back out. So
Reassuring.
After depressurizing, I'll head back out, slide up the garage door, as you will, and the big thing that we heard hitting the side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look around to see if there are any, I suppose, crates that are kind of in the vicinity that I can shove into the open recesses of our ship.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know?
All right, so the first thing you want to do is basically try to plug some of the holes with junk. Did I understand that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But also for easier access, I can kind of haul it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you can
But
get
yes,
to... Yeah, okay.
That also as well.
That's okay. All right, so I'm going to say this is definitely a risky situation. You're not currently under attack, but I am going to need you to make the roll for this. So how would you go about doing this? What do you think she would use, Slip, to do this kind of like moving things through space and pushing junk back towards the ship?
That is a very good question. She'll have an extra length of rope, I suppose,
Okay.
along with her. If there's something that she could have rigged up, maybe that's almost like a self-propelling little fan that she can kind of tie.
Okay.
Not waste too
So
much
I'm actually gonna make this a rig. What do you actually have points in? So like what would... So in Scum and Villainy, one of the cool things about this game is you actually tell the GM what you want to roll to achieve what you're trying to do. So I would definitely think rig is right for you.
It works for me.
All right, so roll up a rig. In this case, it is a risky move, for sure. And I think everything else is, I would, yeah. Risky, standard, yep. So a 4, not too bad. So in Scum and Villainy, we roll a pool of 6-sided die and take the highest die to signify your roll. There are very few just flat-out failures in Scum and Villainy, which is really cool. Usually there's a series of consequences or stresses that come along with it. Oh, thank you! Thank you. I'll count those towards our getting closer to our goal. That was quite a few little bitsies there. Yeah. Thank you. Always 50 foot of rope and a 10 foot pole. Isn't that right? Okay, so you do succeed at this pretty well. I'm gonna say, since this was a pretty standard effect, but you're in a bit of a risky position, you're actively like tying things off and like pushing them back towards the ship, and things seem to be going pretty well for you. Unfortunately, there's a lot of junk, and you're not able to necessarily control it, and it does look like there's a possibility it's currently blocking the entrance back into the ship.
Okay. Also, peering around the front of the spaceship, I'm gonna get a little wave, do the little like walking down the stairs.
Actually, well, as you come forward, so here's the thing: the window's not open, so there's a manual lever that you're gonna have to like throw to open that up for them. But as you kind of round the ship and come near the front, you actually see that the raider ship that attacked you, that you guys thought you blasted, you've caught up to it over a period of time. You guys seem to be kind of floating in this trajectory together, and it's floating ahead of you, I'd say about, I know, 1,000, 1,200 feet, which is really not that far in space. There's actually a possibility that you're floating at a quicker pace and may bump into it. Like physically bump into the larger chunk of the ship, but there are also these big chunks that are floating. You can see the one that probably bumped into your ship earlier and let you guys know that you're kind of floating in a junk field.
Would I know? I'm assuming I would know. Is there a way for, once we kind of reach where we're really close, is there something on my ship that I can almost attach to theirs?
You guys have a grappling hook, like a hand. If you look at the image on Roll20, there's actually, see that lower thing right there? There's like a gun, and you guys have a hand. It like grabs things out front.
Oh, sweet. Yes, yes. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's gonna be in my head.
Okay.
As a plan.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll first go for the old lever flipper upper and get the garage door open.
All right. So you're gonna go back and come back in after you flip the lever. It doesn't take a lot, just a little effort. Pretty standard, simple thing. It's not jammed or anything, surprisingly enough. And you guys watch as it flips, the shield like this heavy metal one drags up, revealing that in front of you exactly what she saw. There's a ship. The raider ship that attached you is ahead. It floats very broken through space, trailing behind it pieces and parts, many of which are currently bumping into your ship. And you see your sister waving.
Doing the down the stairs.
Down the stairs, being goofy.
And yeah, I'll point out the ship and make like a, like a lasso.
The minute I get visuals, I would like to use study and the long-range scanners
Okay.
to assess the debris field to see if I can determine what might be the most valuable debris. So, for example, their power core, where it might be, if it's still functioning.
Okay.
I want to do a study to see so we can maybe spend less time searching around through stuff, but maybe able to target like, oh, hey, those are the parts.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, and and it will use less power because the AI won't be doing it. You'll be doing the scan, which is pretty sweet. Okay.
Given my sort of sketchy background, would I be able to pick out things that might be able to get us a nice little chunk of change as well?
Possibly. Most of what you see here are just bits and parts kind of floating. The main core of the ship that's like floating ahead of you that you guys look to possibly bump into will have more of what you're kind of thinking about, like the canisters and bits and bobs that actually make the engine run, which inevitably is where you guys are going to head anyway. So you may be able to do more assessing once you guys have it connecting and can figure out a way to get on board. You run the scan. Clickety, clickety, click, clack, 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 clack. The AI stays off for this. The bar, you hold your breath, does not drop another percentile. And you run a scan. So I'm going to say that this is a completely controlled situation. There's no risk really involved in this. And I'm going to say that this is a pretty... Yeah, this would be a standard effect because you are floating through space at disadvantage. So I'm just going to give this a standard versus some kind of extra.
So study?
Study, yeah.
And my goal is to be more efficient, right? So that we don't waste time.
You want to make it quick and fast, yeah.
And I don't think I get any bonus dice.
Wow! Oh my god. You start clicking, clacking away. It's like... It runs over it. It pulls up another HUD screen that tells you exactly the make and model of the ship. And you, within like 2 minutes, almost faster than the AI could have, are able to like click, 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 click. You recognize that there are very important pieces that you can use. If nothing else, you may be able to seal off the back end of the ship in the large hole if you guys welded something to it and like, there also may be some supplies still on board. This is a much larger ship than yours and is meant as like a cargo ship. Y'all's is a bounty hunting ship. It's kind of different. So there may be some supplies on board, like I said, but definitely some parts that you could use to get the F out of here, including a energy cell.
A question. This is a rules question because I don't know. I understand that a crit is if you get all sixes or multiple sixes. So if you have only one die, can you not crit? Do you need more than 1 6 for a crit?
I think that's actually right. I think, no, it's based on the dice pool. So in this case, this was a crit on the dice pool that you had, I would think. I'd have to look into that, but in this case...
It might just be multiple sixes, right? In which case, then you couldn't crit with a 1.
You can't crit with 1, but you definitely can get the information you were looking for, I'd say, for sure.
I think you're supposed to roll a minimum of 2 dice, but don't quote me.
No, I don't have any bonus die. Oh, maybe we'll get a bonus for the quality of our ship, or...
2. You get additional, so I believe the ship in this case... Oh, you know what? I'll give that to you. So the ship itself also has its stats, something also cool about Scum and Villainy. And in the ship mode, we currently have a cred of 2. The cred can be added to rolls based on like what you're doing and where you're doing it, as long as it involves the ship. And in this case, it does involve your ship. So I would give you, you could take another die if you wanted. So you're welcome to roll just another 6 if you want, or do the entire roll over again with a bonus die.
That's
okay.
A 4. So no crit, but...
No crit, but still very... I mean, in that case, it's still... Luck is on your side, as the mercenaries would say.
I'm going to tag, using fingers because it's the future, the parts in our HUD, the pieces and parts that I think are most valuable. And I don't mean that in a Deadeye sort of I want money way, but in a...
We need to get out of here and make sure we make it in time to complete this contract kind of way.
Yes.
Yep. Or we're all going to die in like 6 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
My very sensible brother.
So, very super sensible. So what you actually end up doing is kind of reprogramming the, like the ship to project out and actually holographically hit on the large chunk just ahead of you, the areas that need to be, it's almost like laser pointing them, so that your sister, actually, who's already out there, can see exactly where she needs to go on the ship. It is a pretty large ship. You're going to have to go, like, into it and find out what's left, but you guys can do this multiple ways. But you have definitely found what you're looking for, and there's definitely an energy cell that will at least give you enough power to possibly get from here back to Bell Rock. There may even be a hyperdrive, shard on board where you guys could possibly jump.
I'll start heading back inside. If there's a crate or two that I've kind of shoved in there that I can kind of, fiddle through, see if any of it's useful.
There's a lot of banging, gents, from the other side of the door where you let her through. You're not sure why, but there seems to be, like, crates and things, like, rattling around.
Captain, I think it might be fastest if the whole team flies over there, but I thought I could stay here and man the grappling hook.
I was planning on keeping you on the ship. No offense. You're kind of precious cargo.
And he just sort of gets smaller.
Sis!
I love humiliating him.
Don't you worry, Captain. I will stay here for moral support.
No, you're coming. Suit up.
Real shit.
Hanovi, are you going with them?
I'm gonna head back to the Dev's station and kind of get a view of all the things that he's tagged.
Okay. You come back outside. Those of you that want to suit up and join her, you're able to do so. And when you round it, you see, again, these, like, very sharp projected lasers that seem to kind of outline in a holographic way right on the sides and pieces of the ship to kind of signify whether internally or externally the parts that you would need. Their back end of their ship has pretty much been blown open entirely, and because this is more of a cargo ship, there's not a lot of, like, small places where you can block off airflow, so you can tell it's ripped out. Everybody that was in the back end of that ship is gone. They were just, like, sucked right into space when it blew open. And there's a large cargo hold that now kind of stands barren to space. And the single door, hi Cat, the single door that had kind of been closed off is still down. And the front of the ship still smokes. You'll have to figure out a way to open that door if you want into the remainder of the ship.
I'm hoping that what I'm doing in the pilot seat with my lasers, other lasers, and I'm going to be on comms. My hope is that I will be able to assist them with sort of overview guidance. So I'm hoping that I can give them an extra die on their rolls from over
Nice.
here.
Okay. You will take a stress to give them a die. So go ahead and take that stress. And you guys, for any roll that you make shortly, you will gain. You'll gain a bonus die. Thanks to old Dev. So, who's going in? Is anybody going in? Or are you just gonna... Okay. Alright, Midge, this one you're gonna have to pry open. There's no power, like, currently functioning. Most of the systems are down. You gonna rig up something? How, what is your plan? What are you trying to achieve here?
So I have all of my tools with me. Not all of them, but the most essential ones. I got my monkey wrench. I've got, I guess, a crowbar on my back. A bunch of tape that I can just tape shit together.
Yeah.
You never know.
Okay.
Yeah. So I if it's all manual and there's nothing that I can really kind of plug into and hack, there's no power. She's just gonna take. She's got a drill as well. So
okay.
I'll drill. I'll look around for any small screws or any kind of like obvious linchpins, I suppose you could say, that I can kind of drill into and try and pop it open with my crowbar.
Yeah, good call. Okay, so you're going to what action are you using to?
We'll do rig as well, I guess.
Okay. I'll say that you managed to rig something up. You said you had a drill, right? Like a battery-powered one?
I do.
Okay.
I do, yes.
Yeah, what you're looking at are like closed-off carriage bolts because, of course, they need to be airtight. But you managed to you've rigged up something that can pop it. So let's give it a try. Make that roll. Make sure you take your extra die. This is a controlled situation, but this is going to be... no. I'm going to say this is probably a risky situation.
Okay.
This is definitely minimum risky. And I have to think about this. There's somebody really attacking you, but I'm gonna say that this is a limited effect.
Okay.
Only because, I'm gonna say this is a limited effect, and I'll tell you why when we see the roll. And then take that one bonus die, and you should be good to go.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh, hot diggity! Okay. Nice. So you do manage to pop kind of the carriage bolts off. It takes you a while, kind of plunking away at them. Cattail. And as you do so, it decompresses, basically. They are on the inside. Instead of the door opening, like prying this way, the carriage bolts are on the outside. And as it does so, it like off the side of the ship as the pressure pushes it outwards, and it floats free, and it actually is going to go and smash into you.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, it's open and you're now in, but along with it comes everything else that was pressurized inside of there. So everything that's inside is now being like sucked out into space. So the cool thing about Scum and Villainy is there's no like HP or AC to meet. You have a few ways of dealing with it. You can just flat out take the stress and harm that I will give you for things being sucked out of an airlock directly into your path. Or there are a few additional things that you can do. You can resist it by reducing it, right? So 6 minus the highest die result of your stress. So you can basically make this roll using another attribute. So you can tell me how you'd like to dodge it or avoid it or however you'd like to do it. But that's what's going to happen to you is you will be run over by...
Well, I am skilled in scrambling.
Okay.
She's pretty used to depressurization and...
That's true.
The shit that can go wrong when you're fiddling around with machinery. And she's also not concerned really about what may be flying out, because she figures it's probably going to be all loose bobs and bits and nothing seriously important.
Okay.
So yeah, if she can, she's just going to try and duck around it.
Okay, so I'm going to make this a scrap roll. You're kind of like scrapping your way. So what you'll do is you'll roll scrap, and we'll see what your highest die is from the scrap roll.
Is this a risky?
Yeah.
Okay, definitely risky.
Yeah, definitely risky. Definitely still limited.
And we still get, it's a bonus one on all rolls? Or just the one?
I don't know that it qualifies for a resistance roll. I think a resistance roll is like separate, so this is something to do against what's happening to you.
A bit barking dog in the background, sorry.
That's okay, my cat's meowing. It's just an animal-filled night.
Okay.
Wow, a
Not
4.
bad. Not
Okay,
bad.
okay. All right. So you rolled a 4. That means you only take 2 stress.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll put 2 to your stress bar. At a certain point, when your stress bar fills up, you take trauma, right? Now, let's say that you had rolled really poorly. I might have added something else. Like you might have actually taken harm and been hit by something. And you have a certain amount of harm that you can take dependent upon the narrative that's being told. But in this case, you're just going to take some stress. As you're right, bobs and bits like fly past. The one thing that does happen to you is that a dead body comes flying out the airlock and basically wraps itself like around you. In this kind of like disgusting dead hug. Hannah, you also see all of this as things continue because you're behind her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you do? Because you're still there, and the ship is now opening up and just like pouring out things out of it.
So I imagine that he would probably put himself in a position. Hanovi's very cautious. He'd probably put himself in a position to kind of hold on to the tethers between our ship and this ship that we're at.
Mm-hmm.
some debris knock somebody backwards, we don't have the power to use the automatic system to reel them back in. So I would be kind of up close to the ship, off on the side. So when all this shit starts blowing out, throwing her around, and a body hits her, I'm just gonna reach out, grab her, and pull her back towards me. Whether it be the cable or her suit, is gonna pull her back.
Let me go. Let me go.
You hear her over the comms in that kind of like static way. Let me go, let me go.
And I grab this rapidly freezing corpse and kind of peel it off of her.
Yeah, and it does.
Push her back where she was.
Yeah, and the corpse is now like frozen in that like hug motion that like wrapped around her body. And you managed to pry it off. There's now more junk floating all over. All over. Little things, cans of soup, you know, all just, you name it, it's there. Brushes, personal things. This seems to be the only body, potentially the last survivor that was on the ship. You don't know, but it's the only one that's come out of the hole. You are able now to go in. It takes it a second, but eventually it kind of pressurizes against space after it's opened up.
What's the body wearing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Lift up his head, too. Was he cute?
sure.
Priority.
Before his eyes bulged and he was frozen solid. Maybe. He has a 5 o'clock shadow. Large kind of sexy G.I. Joe scar down his face.
Floppy hair?
Could have been.
Yeah.
Could've been.
His hair is like floating out now. It's kind of chipping on the ends from the ice. But you know, he's like all bulged. Seems to be kind of screaming probably when he died. Floats away. He is wearing ooh. Okay. Since you're looking for it, and Hanover helped you like pry it off, you all know, because you're part of the Purloin Guild, that Purloin Guild members are required to have something, anything, that marks them as such with the secret, like, symbol. Right? Some people choose tattoos. Some people choose small pieces of jewelry, usually hidden in places. It's one of those things like worst case scenario. You get taken in and you talk to somebody higher up, you can at least show it to them and they're going to recognize the mark. It's like a last ditch effort, but most Purloin Guild members have one. And as you kind of pry his body off, you notice on his wrist, right here, he has a tattoo, and the Purloin mark is there. Yes, all right, Lord. All right. Yeah. Sorry, the cat was squalling. Okay, so, oh, is there a...
You people acting up out there.
Yeah.
Trolls in the dungeon.
I was about to say,
Trolls in the dungeon.
I told you there are only one kind of troll that's left.
Space troll.
Yeah, space troll. I remind everybody, please be kind. If you're not, I will block you. I have to do it somewhere else.
Oh, the name.
So, why aren't you letting me? So,
Query.
yes.
Are we supposed to let corpses with the Purloin Guild mark just float around in open space?
That's a good question.
That is one of those decisions you have to make. You know that the guild obviously wants to stay secret, but more importantly, they reward. Let me put it like this: they reward their members for
very, very quickly. You sold me already.
Yeah.
Right? I peel this corpse off of our captain, and she's kind of looking at it like, "Ooh, this guy's not all that bad looking." And
Asshole.
I pull a vibro blade out of the holster on my hip
Nice.
and cut his fucking hand off.
Yeah.
And then tap my forehead of my helmet to his forehead, like reverently,
Yeah.
and then let him drift off into space.
Very nice.
Might we want to search that body?
Didn't look like he had anything interesting.
As the body goes off, I kind of lean out and give him a good old kick.
Oh, okay.
Janus is already drifting inside the raider ship.
Yeah. You guys float over. Beams are still going. That being said, you do know, I'm gonna put this to Dev. Dev, you do know that your power is dwindling. You see it go down once again.
Everyone, can you mentally remember those spots that I marked? I want to turn off the markers to save life support. Do you have it? Do you have them?
Yeah, I checked it out. Don't worry, I got it.
Put on your suit and cut off the temperature. Let it get cold. It'll save a lot of power.
Fucking brilliant.
I'm already in my suit.
I didn't imagine you were sitting there with your helmet on.
No, helmet's not on, but he's make sure that everyone's given the look. Like, if you could all just pick a couple of spots, I'm gonna turn them off. Okay, turning them off. When you're ready, now.
Ready.
Ready.
Click the button.
Okay, Mr. Deadeye, are you ready?
We got it, Debbie. We got it.
Right. I use my cybernetic eye to sort of target the spots that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like linked it somehow digitally through space. Into my
Oh,
phone.
cool. Yeah. Like your cybernetics like read the lasers and then he like almost like beams the information over via like a HUD computer display on the back end. Cool.
And then I turn off the lasers so that Deadeye has them. Our Sis will be safe.
The small HUD screen, the small like digital screen, not the HUD, that shows it's now at 8%.
Now, here's the question, since I'm the one with that information. Is there anything in here that might be worth a lot of credit that wasn't targeted that I could convince everybody else that is definitely something we need?
You know I'm a mechanic, right?
Right.
Okay.
You know, I'm very charming.
Alright, I'm gonna give you what is known as a fortune roll.
Ooh, what's that?
Okay? So a fortune roll is basically where you're not really going up against anything, but you're trying to do something, but I, as the GM, want to kind of leave this up to fate, to some degree, to decide what you find. You begin kind of searching. What you're gonna do is pick the trait that you're gonna use to roll for this. So, I would say, well, you get to choose. How do you want to do this? How do you want to search for it? What do you want to use?
Well, I mean, with his like smuggling background, I mean, ultimately, I just kind of assumed that he'd be able to identify things, and it would just be a matter of convincing someone that this piece of whatever is important.
Okay.
So would I be able to use sway?
Yeah.
Desperately.
Yes. I don't know about desperate. It's definitely not a desperate situation. But you can definitely use sway, so that's the 1 die. In this case, I'm going to give you 1 die for an advantage, because this is a raider ship, which means it's probably got plenty of things on it. And 2, you possibly just learned that it wasn't just any raider ship, that these were guild members, which is also strange to you as to why they would have attacked you, considering the fact that's one of the super no-nos.
Right, that's weird, right?
Of the guild. So go ahead and roll it with the 1 and the additional to go with it. Let's see how you do.
So it'd be risky, and then what would be the effect?
Oh, the effect of this, this actually, because this is something that you're really, really great at, I'm going to say that you can take this as a great effect. If you roll, like, yeah, it would be great.
He's going to burn a gambit.
All right, take another one. Or how do you, I guess basically for the gambit, you, there's a couple options for the gambit, or does it just offer you 1 die?
This offers you 1
When the die. Okay, yeah, I was right. Okay.
But we don't get it back because it's not a desperate roll.
Correct.
Correct.
He doesn't care.
I have a feeling it's going to get desperate. I wouldn't worry about it. Okay. Wow. All right. let me take a look here at this fortune situation. Okay. You begin scouring the ship. The one thing that is still intact is the informational database that was on board. You know, just from the amount of time that you've served in the guild, all of you know, that if you were to come under attack or if you were to possibly be taken, the first thing that has to go is your data files, because it has everything that you've been working on. Everything. So that's gonna be huge. It's just gonna fill you in on information. And two, they were carrying something that they got. Clearly, they followed you off planet, so they must have picked it up from Bell Rock. But there's it's like some kind of a specialty lead case that seems to be floating in the cockpit area. It's banging around with another body. You can it's almost like I'm sure it's like a X-ray vision.
Right.
As you kind of like dig through the ship, and because the cockpit is still partially intact, the pilot floats there along with this box that is handcuffed. You can see it now to his wrist. This lead box, and the data file drive is still available.
All right, I'm totally gonna blast that handcuff thing off.
All right, yeah, you slide through. Pew! No issue there. Has to be that sound, because why wouldn't it be in space, right? All the sounds in space. Pew! And you cuts right through the very light chain, but the box seems to have some kind of extreme digital lock on it. You'll probably have to take it back to the ship to take a look at it. But yeah, you've successfully managed to do that. Who else is on board the ship searching for things? That's what I thought. Midge, the outline pieces that Dev gave you, you know where they are. And there's a power cell that you can remove from the side of the ship where the engine used to be. It's inserted in. It's like a canister you can pop out.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll shove that in my satchel.
Yeah, you link it to yourself, make sure it doesn't go anywhere, and you guys salvage a few parts. Is there anything else, Midge, that you want to try to grab and or look for?
So we have a power cell. Were we running low on food and water? Okay. Yeah, as I know a little bit of it came out, soup cans and all the
there's random things floating around you.
Fine. It's AAA batteries. Yeah, she'll head. Okay, so we had the power cell. Was there anything else that I knew of that was specifically? Would I be able to find some kind of instead of filling the hole with trash? Was there something that I could find that might naturally seal the back end off?
Interesting.
Some kind of space saran wrap.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Sure.
Could I grab that door with the grappling hook that she unhooked? Mm-hmm. That seemed like a large, excellent.
Oh, that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. You also rolled a 6 last time, so I would say in terms of maintaining the ship, you're not really having any issue. You crane the arm out, grab this door. Midge, you go searching through what seem to be a few crates that are actually physically strapped to the sides of this the cargo area that's open. There are a few tools and some extra things that you take. 2 very important things. There's some kind of expanding foam, space expansion foam, for sealing holes and such. And they're very expensive. And they're only a single use, but they're kind of like a parachute, and when you release them, they go, the air pressure basically sucks them, and they stick to the walls, and patch large holes. Yeah, so you would be able to take some of those things and probably be able to patch off some areas. But that's about all you're going to be able to carry back in your current state.
Perfect. So that's all for me. I am going to look around for some kind of enclosed box that I can shove a bunch of food and water tablets, whatever we need in there.
Okay. Yeah, you grab some canned goods that are now very much frozen and some old jerky, dried meats and fruits and such. Yeah, they only get more colder, right? And you, you're able to drag it back. Hanovi, is there anything that you wanted to do other than just kind of support and make sure that everything goes smoothly?
I know these two are pilferers, in their hearts of hearts. And when they're inside the ship, I also know they're relatively safe. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time ensuring that we're anchored to this ship and can drag it along behind us if we need, because there's no extra weight in space, right?
Yeah, correct.
But when I'm done with that, it shouldn't take super long. And I imagine they're loading up cans. It's going to take them a couple of minutes.
You've got big arms, so I'm handing the box off to you. You know.
There's no weight in space.
Well,
so
no. Hold on to it.
She pushes it over.
I don't have to, because the thing that I want to do after I anchor the ship is go back to ours and cut loose one of the big cargo bay nets that you stow shit against the wall with.
Yep.
And then bring it with me over so that they
Very
can just
nice.
throw I know way too much stuff into the cargo net.
All right, you guys managed to get everything back. Did Jet?
So like they come around, we're gonna hand you some stuff, and I have this giant net. Put it in.
Did you want to take the data file? Did I want to grab it?
Were you
Yeah,
were you trying to convince me to let you take it?
No, you weren't. You were in the cockpit.
That's true. Yeah, you were in the back. He went all the way to the front.
Oh, you went all the way at the front.
Yeah,
Okay.
I totally got the data file and the little box. Is there any way that I can conceal that box on my person?
This bitch.
All right. Here's what I'll say. I'm gonna let you try. Tell me how you do that.
So, yeah, essentially, because I still have. That's because I'm in my space.
You have a spacesuit on.
Yeah, so this would be considered a risky roll, and you're going to be very limited regardless. Like, the outcome of this will be super, super limited because you're in a spacesuit. It's not like you can just tuck it in your pants. And it's also, it's like kind of like a security box, like a safety security box. So it's not small, per se.
Right.
Are you hiding a safety security box, or are you just happy to see me?
That's right.
So I'm going to try to attempt to make it look like a special rig on my pack or something on the back of the spacesuit.
Okay.
That you didn't have when we came over?
It stands for infiltration purposes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. I'll let you convince them of that. Let's get the roll, and let's see how well you actually kind of...
So what am I rolling with here?
So you said you wanted to do skulk?
Yeah, so like in an attempt to conceal it or disguise it.
Yep.
That type of thing.
Okay, so you're going to roll skulk. It's going to be a risky position with a limited effect. And don't forget, I believe you get the +1
Yeah.
die. I keep forgetting that. I want to make sure you guys do that.
All right.
More die.
I don't think we do get a +1.
Didn't we give a +1? You gave a +1.
Yeah, I'm not helping him lie to us. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh,
Helping
gotcha.
him
Well,
find the pieces.
The good news is he still got 5. So, you managed to strap it, like, to yourself, hiding it as best as humanly possible. I would definitely say with Hanovi and Slip.
I'm totally
Yeah.
talking up the data file.
Yeah,
Like,
you're like waving it. Yeah, trying to get them to not notice this box that
Right,
you.
look,
Yeah.
I got the data file. I know that's really important to the Purloin Guild. So here we go, Cap. I figured that'd be a good idea for me to go up the cockpit and take care of that for you. And here you go.
Wait, what? Are you saying that because nobody said on comms that this was a Purloin Guild member, right?
Nobody told you that.
No, sorry.
It basically was handled in complete silence.
Don't say something like that over comms.
Well, regardless, the information on a data file for a ship, Purloin or not, would probably be quite valuable in any situation. So here we go.
It's a large drive that's been pulled out of like the front of a ship.
Yeah, I'll take it.
We might be able to find out why the hell these bastards raided us.
Well, because they're assholes, duh. That was easy.
We don't have a lot of life support left. If maybe you could come back.
Yeah, we got everything we need.
Yep, shit, Dev's right. Let's hurry.
And you guys space scudder back to your ship. I'm gonna rightfully assume, and please tell me if I'm wrong, that you release the whole seal.
Yes.
You guys have a door, an extra door frame, which you can use at your disposal however you see fit.
Dragging along the entire ship.
Yeah, you guys are dragging things along as much behind you as you can kind of muster. And she did get on board with a power cell. Dev, when you slot in the new power cell, or whoever slots in the new power cell,
She does.
She does.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
right. Yeah. The mechanic. You go over. You pull yours free. It is hot and like smoking, and you can see that the display on it is at the very, very end. There's little to no kind of like green coloring left on it. You slot the new one in and twist it. The lights in the ship turn on for the first time in almost 24 hours. The HUD system in front of you, like everything kind of turns on.
Fire!
And Sis's holographic display also returns for the first time. You see kind of like the bust of a woman. The green code kind of makes up her face. And she says, life support at 46%.
Much better.
Sis, could you do a diagnostic, please?
Running diagnostic, and things run up and down the screen, and she says, cargo bay has been sealed. Life support at 43%, she repeats herself. And then she says, currently we have enough power to jump to, and she lists 3 planets. She lists obviously Bell Rock, Junk Planet. Then she says, Corellia. Hydrogen, helium, methane, and other gases exist on this planet. Currently, it is negative 10 degrees Celsius. Planet number 3, Vestin. Vestin, it is currently negative 87 degrees Celsius. All water is frozen on the surface.
Bloody hell, why is every place so fucking cold in this stupid star system? I don't understand.
Currently, it is the coldest months of the year, as the planets are farthest away from the centralized star.
Fucking Encyclopedia Galactica again.
She answers as if it's just like it's literally coded in her to constantly answer your questions.
Captain, where are we supposed to drop this stuff off at?
Up on your screen, she kind of goes down, and in place of her pops up just some like words floating in basically midair, and it seems to be the contract that you signed. Of course, those contracts would never be talked out loud. You were asked to return the item that you procured off of the surface to one of the luxury space stations. Is what it currently tells you. Let's see. Which one did I mark? Let me make sure I get the right one here. The luxury space station you were planning to send it to was... Titanus is the name of the space station. This is the wealthiest station in the galaxy. Has lots of entertainment, vacation spots. Usually,
1%.
yeah, yes, correct. The 1%. It is not well known, and it's being tried to... You were told to be kept on the DL that one of their water purifying systems has broken down, which has made water scarce on the luxury station. And they've been pulling water from other stations, including civilian stations, across the galaxy. So you guys were sent on this mission to procure a piece of machinery that you can only rightfully assume is either meant to patch it, replace it, fix it, but that's where you were to take it.
Can we get there from here?
You will have to jump. Do you ask that to AI?
I figured I would probably know since I pilot all over the place.
Sure. You would know that Petrana is, with the jumping that you currently can do, you can get about halfway there. Then you'll have to stop and refuel. There are a few places that you can do that. There are a few small systems or space stations along the way. But you won't be able to make it with what you've got.
Well, we're gonna have to we'll have to take 2 jumps. The first one we'll have to refuel, and we can make it there in 2. It's just that we have this large ship that apparently we're dragging behind us. Do we need to drag the whole ship with us?
Oh no! And I'll slam my hand
When
on
we're sure we
the
have
button
all
that
we need from it for repairs, we can cut it free.
yeah. I'll slam my hand on the button that releases the grappling hook and let it flow free.
The net releases, draws itself kind of back in, and you, Dev, you like feel the ship kind of like jump and pull as it frees itself. And
Precisely, we don't want to jump with hauling a ship.
it's definitely that moves your risk level up quite high. But you have managed, you think, to cover your bases. You have the data off of the ship. You chop the hand off. What did you do with the hand? Did you just let it go?
Oh, I don't like interrupting. I was actually going to vacuum seal it and put it in our freezer. And if I can't do the freezer, I'll put it in the blown out airlock where it's still like sub-zero from being open to space.
Nice.
I'll store it there, wherever I can keep it the freshest.
Not in our refrigerator.
You do. That's the precious place
That's
to
why I
keep it.
vacuum sealed it first.
The precious place in space is the fridge. Yeah.
Mr. Hyde, why did you cut off that man's hand?
It's one way to prove who they were.
Who are they?
He's one of us.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
I show you the symbol on his wrist.
Why would members of attack fellow members?
I got the information chip though, and I'll pull it out of my pocket.
You're welcome.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense though. I mean, one, they're not supposed to do that, and so why did they? That.
And I kind of gestured at the chip.
This could fall back on us. I assumed taking the hand would be one step towards clearing up this mess. We killed them just as much as they tried to kill us, after all.
Well, you're the official representative. I imagine you can testify and.
Right. Well, Beefcake, the way that I see it, is that we sort of defended ourselves. I don't.
Did I say we didn't?
Well, you said we attacked them, as I recall.
I said killed,
5
not
seconds.
attack.
Well, shit happens. See, it's all about perspective. You just got to know how to phrase things in the proper context.
Do you think they were hunting us, or do you think we just both happened to be at the same place? I mean, this is quite distressing.
I bet the data file holds lots of information on that.
I'll toss it back to you as you're saying that, actually, Deadeye, and we'll go through it. I got shit to do.
Right. So I'm quite skilled at
Jeff just holds up his hand. I'll take it.
Here we go, and he totally hands it over.
But you don't know how to read?
Well, I'm not very good at
You don't know how to
hacking
read.
electronics. Well, it's difficult with one eye,
He
okay?
doesn't know how to read. He doesn't know how to read.
Mr. Deadeye, I know that you know how to read. I've seen you read those funny
Wait.
vids. Well, that's actually, you don't need to read that one.
Why are you peeping in my room, mate? That's a bit creepy. Say.
You were sort of loud. I was just walking by.
All right. Well, and he skulks off like totally. I'm gonna get out of this spacesuit and no, not that, Dev. Shut up.
You're supposed to close the door, by the way, when you're busy like that, you know.
You know what? I haven't eaten in 2 days. I'm going to go have some space puffs.
There are frozen space puffs. They're still frozen.
I got your favorite, by the way. And I kind of shake the
There's
bag and-
one bag of frozen space puffs. They don't rattle.
We have a nuclear wave. It's
Well, Dev, are you gonna run this? Is that the plan?
I do have a quick question. In this journey that we're going to partake on, would we be able to stop by the station at Calajovian? Because I think we do have a lot of extra cargo that we picked up. We might be able to offload there on the way.
That's not close, is it, Dev? Is it close?
does not seem to be what the GM said, who said Corellia and Vestin. From here to Petronia, is the place he's thinking of, is it on the way? Is it a place for us to go to, or is that not on the way?
Which one did you want to stop by?
The station, the Astreus terminal.
Oh, yeah, the big one.
Yeah. The one that deals with illegal trading.
Yes. So here's the thing. That's the planet on the opposite side of the system where the slingshot is said to drop you.
Oh, right. Well, shit. We'll eventually get that in.
So you've got the longest way to go to get there, or you can take the riskiest route and try to hop the slingshot, though you're not 100% sure whether or not you'll all survive.
No, business first.
Especially if we have important information, I would, Captain, I think that we should perhaps, should I just... GM, is there a place where we can unload some of this stuff between here and there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are some, like, much smaller stations. You'll probably have what are known as just trading vessels that you could hit along the way. And anywhere that you're going to refuel will have places to trade.
We should definitely try not to land between here and our destination. We do have a very expensive piece of equipment we're delivering.
So technically, floating around Corellia, is that the one I told you guys? Is what is known as the Solus base, which is the largest. It's the military base. It's where the headquarters of the Purloin Guild is held, along with the Spire, which is the data housing unit. So you can refuel for free at the Solus base.
And also tell them about weirdnesses. Captain, if we head to Corellia, we could perhaps get rid of some of this sensitive data once we've come through it.
Yeah, set us on that course. I kind of slap your shoulders again.
He winces a little bit, just
not
a
hard,
little bit.
not hard, you big baby.
Okay. Do you want to run the data?
Do we have time after we set the course? Yeah, so I'll set the course to Corellia, and then I'll run the data.
All right. Sis responds, giving you the coordinates, assuring that they are correct back to you. And she says, jumping in 3, 2, 1.
Get ready.
Hold on to your butts.
And you feel the ship actually, it obviously begins to move, and it does jerk you a little bit, but it's a pretty smooth transition. Now you want to bring the shield down. The shield to the window comes down as you guys begin speeding through space at a rapid pace on trajectory for the Solus station. You guys are going to have a couple hours of travel at this point, straight there. So this would be considered downtime. You're only going to get to do one downtime activity because it's such a short amount of time. Nobody took really any damage, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But yeah, so you get to choose your downtime activity. So one of the cool things about Scum and Villainy that I love is you achieve things for your character in downtime. This kind of free time option. So you guys get to do something now. So you can tell me what. Sometimes it will benefit you. It may give you extra die. It may fix something, so forth and so on. Yeah.
I'll work on studying the data.
Great. Very cool. All right.
I will lock myself away into my room and figure out what's in this box. Do we, during this downtime, are we getting our gambit rolls back?
Gambit, the 2 gambit rolls will come back.
Okay.
Or at least I think you only used 1, but you'll have 2 now. You also choose, so your downtime activities come from a list, but in this case, you would be doing research. So we're going to consider that acquiring an asset.
Okay.
You can indulge a vice. You can do what's known as laying low, which is basically just resting, recover, repair, train. You can start working on a long-term project, or you can craft something.
So what do I need to get into that box during that downtime?
This is also going to be considered acquiring an asset.
Okay.
Because that's basically what you're trying to do is acquire it. So that's what I would think. Yeah. So you tell me, how do you plan to get into this thing? You're gonna hack it. You're gonna.
He's going to sort of, because he has fine blaster pistols, and he actually has 2 of them, and he's going to adjust the beam on the blaster pistol to make it a kind of cutting torch.
Okay.
Like a consistent laser.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
In order to try and cut this box open to determine what's inside of it.
Okay.
And he given that he's already committed a bit of subterfuge in hiding this item from the rest of the group, would this be considered a desperate roll to regenerate a gambit that he's definitely going to stick?
No, this is not a desperate roll. Usually desperation has to do with, like, the situation around you.
Okay.
So I would say this is not desperate because nobody's, like, you're not just trying to, like, beat a time clock or anything. You've got plenty of time. This is actually a controlled situation.
Okay.
I would say it is controlled.
Since I'm using my pistols and trying to be precise, can that be a scrap roll?
Yes, I will let you scrap it because you're definitely not trying to, like, hack it or rig it in any way.
Okay, so controlled, and what would be the effect?
This will be a great effect if you can get it open.
Okay, and bonus 1 for the gambit.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
You and they kind of, like, go off, and you see as you, like, pop the edge, the lid slings open. It, like, springs off based on the pressure. It goes flying with, like, a smoke trail behind it, and you have popped the box open. Inside of it is 2 very large hypercrystals. One of them you have now damaged. It's kind of the result. One of them is undamaged. This is not just an average. Usually a hypercrystal that you actually purchase is about this large, about this tall, about an inch across. This is like a football. It's huge. You're not sure where or how they got it. Usually crystals of this size don't even manage to leave the refinery. They go straight from the astral or the ring around the planet straight to a refiner, to be broken down into smaller pieces.
What do we use them for?
You use them to jump across a galaxy. So it would allow you to, like, hop from a planet to another planet without having to do what you're doing now, which is traveling. It's like hyperdrive crystals, basically. And they come off of the rings of one specific planet, which is heavily guarded by the military.
What's their kind of the value of something like that?
Something like this could put a down payment on a ship, could clear a record, could get you all killed.
So we're looking at about 10 cred territory.
Yeah, this is a 10 cred territory kind of a thing, which is huge. Huge.
Right, well, so Janus will take the damaged one and set it up something like a base for a lamp in his room.
Oh my God.
We'll take a lampshade off and just set it on top.
Okay.
It's quite inconspicuous, at least in his mind. And the other one, he's just going to tuck away for the moment.
Okay. The big one you tuck away?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Here we go. Who else? What else is happening in Downtime?
Scoundrel. He's a scoundrel.
Gonna get you all freaking killed.
I have a free action essentially to repair.
Yes.
So I am going to spend that downtime. If there's a way that I can think of that can kind of simultaneously rig the spare door back onto the end, and also use some of either that foam or the other expanding material that would still allow, in a way, the door to reopen in case we needed to use it again.
Okay.
I've got bits and bobs of metal and things that I can maybe solder together to make a new door handle, or new hinges, I mean.
Okay.
So that's what she's going for.
You're just patching up the ship, basically, and you're wanting to, like, make major repairs. Okay. This would be a good time for it. go ahead and roll the rig.
Okay.
This is a controlled environment. You're not being chased by anything. And in this case, this is just going to be a pretty standard effect.
Okay.
Nothing really special for patching the ship other than it works better.
Okay. Oh, that's not good.
Let's see how... okay. Well, I'll tell you this. You do manage to, like, fill holes. The engine seems to be running okay based on, like, the rubber bands and, like, things that you had on you to, like, strap it together. Unfortunately, there are not the right supplies for you to be able to drop a door in. You're going to really need to be parked for that, and you're going to need some serious sheets of metal to patch that hole. The space parachute is kind of like holding that in place. You're probably lucky to even be able to stand in this area at this point. So no go on patching the door, but you have stabilized the ship in essence, and all the sections you're able to walk through them openly, with both anti-gravity and oxygen.
Okay. So that's fine. And then for the rest of my time, I want to steal away my little brother's Teddy Ruxpin and modify him with some kind of new voice modification that makes him sound like Jeff Goldblum. I'm just pulling this shit out of my ass. I'm pulling this shit way out of my ass.
All right. This is another. Do you want to use? What are you wanting to roll for this one? May I ask that?
Ooh, that's good. We're gonna
So
go.
it's not actually Jeff Goldblum, but like some kind of futuristic, like space Jeff Goldblum.
Future Bloom. Future Bloom.
Future Bloom.
I'm gonna go with a hack on this one.
Just a quick point of order. I was just reading, whenever we roll a 6, we earn a gambit.
Oh, that's right.
So, no idea how many 6.
so I've
probably
had
like
one.
3.
Is that right, or is it only if you
4.
get a crit?
No, it says
If you roll a 6, you get a gambit. So that's actually 4. I think you guys have gained. I'll go back and double check, but I know you've had at least 4. And I'll drop those just on the sheet, the ship sheet. I say that. Where am I
Oh, the
now?
gambit goes on the ship sheet, not our own.
It can go on.
Only on a
okay.
risky action, however. So you can't get it if it's a 6 on a controlled action. You don't get it. So
There
this-
we go. So,
Okay, so I've had
I know
one
it.
then with the
1,
door.
2,
And I had one.
2 there. Yeah.
I think that's only 10%.
Yeah, correct. So we've had 2.
Okay.
We've had 2 6s. Yeah, so that's great. So another 2. If you want to keep them on your sheet, that would be very much helpful for me. But either way, I will also track your gambits.
Okay.
Just so that I also know. Roll up. Are you wanting to rig this, or are you wanting to hack him, or how are you wanting to do
I'm
this?
gonna hack into it and see if
Okay.
I can.
Like reprogram its voice modulator. Modulator.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll this one as well. In this case, this is a controlled environment. This is a pretty limited opportunity.
And the gambit is an extra die, correct?
If you want to use the gambit, yes, you can totally use it.
Fuck it, why not? Why
Yeah,
not?
sure.
We're down to 3.
Okay.
6.
Cool.
We're back up to 4.
No,
No,
it was
it's
controlled.
controlled.
So, very successfully. You have no problem hacking into its voice modulator. I don't know what it did sound like, but now it's a strangely futuristic Jeff Goldblum.
All he does is the ha 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 ha.
Thank you out there for those follows. Yeah, yeah, he laughs. It freaks you out. You return it. He still needs... His battery is still very low. Because, again, wasn't really charging. So you're going to want to plug him back in.
Every time you make a desperate roll, he now says, they're so busy thinking trying to see if they could. They never thought if they should.
Is there a way so the old battery, actually I have a question for this. The old battery core, so there's barely any left on it, but I'm wondering if there's a way for Slip to kind of rip this thing apart and get any kind of, I don't know, sliver of power that might actually work for the bear's power cell, or do I just need to get a new one? Does that make sense?
Yes.
We do have a little bit of juice left in the battery we pulled out of the ship.
It's true.
Yeah, that's
More than
what I was
enough
saying.
for a bear.
I'll say at a 6 with the hack, yeah. You almost like, it's almost like a battery pack. You direct plug him in. There was only about 7% left on that battery. But for a bear of his size, he charges almost 100%. Just like, I mean, this power cell charges a ship. This is a Teddy Ruxpin. So, so no problem at all. Getting him rigged up, you return him to your brother, charged up, voiced up.
without me even knowing that he's gone.
Yep,
No.
correct. What about Hanobi? What do you do in your free time, your spare time as you guys travel? Excuse me.
Oh boy. I actually think I'm going to train. Specifically, I'm going to train seeing that the ship got royally messed up and everything almost went pear-shaped. I'm basically just going to be sitting on a terminal and reading about this ship to try and increase my insight and how to rig it later on if
Nice.
need be.
So the Cerberus that you sit on, the Cerberus model, yeah, great.
This exact Cerberus model.
Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is the next time you guys are in ship combat, I'm going to give you a +1 die to just anytime you roll to use or the ship in some way or to benefit you in combat. Because you do know more now. You flat out just read and you know more. In addition, I believe when you train, you gain XP.
One
So
XP mark. On the
one
track
XP
of
mark.
Attribute or playbook advancement.
there you go. So you also were going to get that training as well. So I'm giving you the die because I think that's really cool. I like the idea that you like sit down, and you're like reading through the playbook of the ship.
We need to hit the emergency button a few times.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to read how this ship works.
Yeah, and specifically, like I'll give it to you any way you'd like if you want to look at like the way that the weapons work, or can you use the arm for combat, not just grabbing things. Like I'll leave it up to you how you want to do that, but you do have the +1 die. Cool. And Dev. Oh, you went through the data files.
I'm studying the data files as we are traveling, while also, keeping my eye on the ship to make sure everything's okay, and looking through the data, and then wondering where my Teddy is. And then going back to the data.
Let's see. You are going to acquire these assets. So,
Study is what I would like.
yeah, I'll give you the study on it. So roll up the study. This is completely controlled environment, like I said, but the opportunity for what you can find is great.
May I use a gambit, everyone?
Yes.
Cool. Make it so.
Thank you. So this will be a controlled roll, and this is a great effect, and I am going to get 1 bonus die, but this is very important to me because this could be a lot. So I'm going to push myself.
Okay, add a stress.
I actually, since it's pushing myself, I have to add 2 stress.
Oh, 2 stress, okay.
For if I were helping someone else, it would only be 1, but for helping myself, it is 2.
Okay.
Okay. No.
Oh, all right. You begin hacking through. So here's what I'll tell you. Based on a 3, you're click, 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 clattering away.
I keep forgetting about the devil's bargain. I would have done one right
Yeah.
there.
Let's see. The information that you find is pretty similar to the way that your... It's easy to access only because it's set up exactly the way that your database is. The Purloin Guild goes through it after every trip. As you begin to simmer through it, you find their contract. Do you open it? I'm going to leave that choice up to you.
What you're telling me, what I'm hearing is the contract is not just open for me to read.
It's like any other file. You have to open the file, and you find the file for their contract.
Captain?
It comes over the intercom system.
Yeah, what's up?
Could I see you, please, on the bridge?
I'll slide myself out from whatever thing I've been working on and walk up there.
I shut off comms so that only my sister and I can hear each other.
Mm-hmm.
Sis, not you. I mean you, my actual. I'm going through the data, and so that's their contract right there. I didn't open it because I figured that you should maybe that should be your choice. But
I lean over and press the accept button.
Code pops up,
maybe we shouldn't. Oh,
and the contract starts to
Just
appear.
trust me.
we should definitely not tell Mr. Hyde about this.
I
love that you call him
Mr.
Mr.
Like, oh,
Hyde.
is he there?
No, I made sure we were alone.
Okay. The contract pops up, you begin reading through it. They were to, this raider group, was to retrieve 2 large hypercrystals for a very top secret use, specific use, and return them to, let me make sure I get the right space station. Return them to, they're supposed to return them to the Solar Space after picking them up from Bell Rock.
Does it say what they were doing on Bell Rock? Or is there any information in the data why they attacked us?
Not in this file.
Yeah.
I mean, you're open to kind of search through. I would say at the 3, there's a lot of information on here.
This is what I would say. I'd say, Midge, I went through, but I feel like I'm not particularly good at breaking into encrypted files. I don't, that seems a little, maybe you might have better luck looking at that sort of thing.
I can try.
And also, it looks like they were looking for these really expensive hypercrystals, and you didn't see any of those, did you?
I don't see him. I got a hunch.
They were lost, huh?
I mean, they went out the airlock, possibly. That's where the cargo bay was. Would be up.
It could. I'll ask around.
So, if you want, I can help you with going through the data, but I think maybe you might need to, break in. If you think that's okay, it may not be all right to do that sort of a thing. Maybe we shouldn't. I leave it up to you. But
Shh, don't talk so loud. Don't talk so loud. Am I okay? So he's well.
I'm passing the role off to you so that maybe you can do a hacking or whatnot. And
Is that possible? Can I essentially assist him with?
I would assist you.
He's gonna assist you, which means you get. I see what you're saying. Yeah, this would be considered kind of an extra role. I'd give it to you because you guys are kind of sharing it during his downtime. You can make it. You gain a die for his help, though you take a stress. Yeah.
Okay. And that would be a hacking. Okay. So that is it risky?
This is considered a controlled environment. Okay. But again, the outcome is great.
Okay.
So just know if you manage to do it, there's nothing here stopping you. At least it doesn't seem.
Do you want that gambit?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
That would be two additional
that's the
die.
last one.
We
I
have
just
one left.
realized that there's it's a collective party, so I just kind of used again. I'm sorry, I thought it was like personal damage.
No, it's a total pool for the party.
The Jeff Goldblum thing was very important. Thank you. Okay.
We have one left.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Go for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We get one back.
It's probably a good thing that you didn't
No, we
let
don't.
your brother go too deep into this because there was an encrypted file that, if hit the wrong way, would have brought your entire space, online system down. It's basically a virus. You find it and you manage to bypass it. You do some more digging. You realize that there's not just one contract on this hard drive. There's another contract. But the code and the infrastructure, like the internal infrastructure of it, is not the same. This is not a Purloin Guild code. This is also not a gray contract. I mean, technically it is. Anything outside of the Purloin Guild is considered a gray contract. But this is something different. It's heavily encrypted. It's not military code. You don't know that you've ever seen anything like this before, Midge. After a little, you have to run a few different encoders to make it come to light. And you realize that when you pull this contract up, it is a assassin's contract for the 4 of you. It is not signed.
I hide Dev's eyes.
Yeah, it is not signed. It lists all of your names.
Our actual names?
Your actual names.
Oh shit.
Midge Ryle, Dev Ryle, right? So forth and so on. It lists all four of you.
Searching. I'm gonna be searching for whoever assigned this contract, as quickly as I can.
Trying to figure it out. You search and you cannot. All that you find is a symbol. You've never seen it before. It's kind of probably like a secret symbol. Yeah, but that's all that you can pick up.
Fuck.
Seen
that before?
That's an assassination contract, right?
Yeah, for us.
But what did we do?
I don't know.
We should maybe tell the others.
Homer's gonna freak out.
I know, but he's good.
I'm not freaking out.
I'm also very concerned right now. Teddy?
I was about to say the bear is like, ha, ha, ha. It's like sitting right next to you. It laughs.
I think that's kind of weird. I have this what? But then I just stroke his head to make me feel better.
It purrs.
And that's just what I do when I'm feeling uncomfortable and nervous.
It vibrates.
I give it a hug.
It continues to vibrate. It's very soothing.
We should maybe tell them.
Tell them what?
Shh, you be quiet, okay? I'm thinking right now.
I'd love if Sis was just crew informed.
Yeah, Sis, Sis HUD is up, her holograph is there.
Stopping it.
Yeah. Shall I inform the crew?
No, just... Damn it.
Would given Janus's very sketchy background, would he possibly recognize this symbol?
Well, you're not there. You don't know.
Possibly.
I'm just saying.
He might. So might Sis.
For the knowledge of Metaland.
Dev wants to tell you all because he cares about everybody.
I'm planning on. Okay. Okay. I have a question though. Is Sis connected to a wider network, or is she only hardwired to the ship?
Sis was installed by the Purloin Guild.
That's not
Shut
good
her
for us.
off. Can you shut her off?
Sis? Hey, Sis, how are you doing?
I am feeling well today. We're at 34%. Much better than 7%.
I agree. Do you think you could not monitor the cockpit area, what we're saying, for just 15 minutes?
Does not compute. Sis monitors all activity aboard Cerberus model number 132.
I know, but I just mean, for 10 minutes. Thank you.
10 minutes and counting. And Sis goes away, and in place of her bust pops up a timer. A 10-minute timer.
I actually am going to go one step further. So, as a mechanic, I'm assuming I would know this. Would shit hit the fan if I pulled the power core out? Or can I just kind of pull it out and then go back in and it's fine?
We're in the middle of a hyper jump.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, I was about to say you would come out of a hyper jump. Well, you would come out of space travel. You're actually not in a hyper jump. You're in a space travel. So you could run into something.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be very risky.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. I forgot that we're still traveling. Okay.
Yeah, you guys are traveling.
Yeah. Guys.
Does this include Hyde?
Guys.
Yeah.
Over the intercom, you guys hear Midge.
Could you come here in the next 2 minutes, please? We only have 7 minutes left.
Yeah. So with that, Janus stuffs the crystal under his mattress.
Best hiding place. Never find it there.
No.
There's rarest items in the system. Put it in my mattress.
I'm pretty close, so I'll just walk over there.
And there's we open the doors to let you in, and there's a little timer going.
Yeah.
Click it down.
Boop.
You see that Hanobi has changed out of the spacesuit and the underclothes that he was wearing before, and he's now wearing his Tatratani suit.
Nice.
This really, really nice tailored suit with a tie. Yeah.
Mr.
Wait,
Jedi?
wait. Okay.
I go over and start pouring some water in a glass.
Where's the micro? I know there's probably multiple, but where's the main microphone that leads to Sis?
It's embedded in the well, there's an intercom system, so she functions through the intercom system as well. Now you can turn the main intercom system off manually, like if you just want to flip it off.
We wait for Mr. Deadeye to arrive.
Okay.
Yeah, so I come in, I see Hyde over there, pouring out some water, and I'm like, right, bloody hell, good idea. And he goes over and pours out a bottle of Patrani and vodka.
We don't have much time, Mr. Deadeye. Shuts the door.
Yeah, what? And
Okay, I'm gonna so whenever I know there's a speaker, like a big speaker, I'm just kind of sit on it.
Yeah,
You're
you
too
put
stressed.
You know, like what I'm saying. Listen, okay. Kind of fucked up, all right? The guys on the ship had a contract out for us, and they know our names, but it's not the Purloin code. It's this. And I kind of point to the monitor of the symbol.
A symbol pops up. Hanabi, as a level 3 security, you would know that you are trained to look out for this symbol anywhere, because
Don't kill me, okay?
it is the Assassin's Guild. They are much rumored about, kind of a ghost in the shell type thing. Like, they're not supposed to actually exist, but when they do, it is bad news bears. There are rumors about where their headquarters is, but you guys have been marked.
Well, my real life, for Hanobi anyway, my real life girlfriend, Aya, is actually an assassin with that guild.
Then your big secret, yeah, you would know this because she probably, just like you, has something marked.
Literally on the character sheet, not even making that up. Anyway.
True story.
So I nod, and I say, yeah.
Yeah?
So
right, brilliant input there, Beefcake.
they had 2 contracts, one from the PG, and then one from these folks, who I don't know who they are, but the one for the PG was for 2 hypercrystals that were.
Oh, well, I know you got him. I know you got him.
I don't have them.
Not you.
But hey, what? What's going on?
Anyway, there are these 2 hypercrystals are supposed to go to the Solace space station, but also apparently some mysterious organization wants to murder us, and I don't even know why. I didn't do anything. Well, I mean, I did one thing, but I didn't do anything.
Well, I mean, if you... Sorry, go ahead.
Chances are, if you've been marked by the Assassin's Guild, you've had to have done something. I'm assuming that you got me marked and not the other way around. Though, if I did get you marked inadvertently, I apologize.
So you're saying you did it?
Well, shit. When I'm dead, I'll be sure to forgive you.
Wait, Assassin's Guild?
That'll be fine. Take a drink.
What's
The symbol right here. I put my finger on the symbol on the monitor and smudge it a little.
No, holographic.
You don't actually have a monitor down where you type shit?
Yeah, there's a hard monitor and a HUD. Yeah, there's both.
I didn't know if you use the HUD all the time. Anyway, I kind of run my finger through it on the HUD floating in front of you. And I say, this is the symbol for the Assassin's Guild.
What is the Assassin's Guild?
How do you know that? Are you an assassin?
I kind of look down and pick something out from underneath my thumbnail.
He's
and
totally an assassin.
Oh my
put
god.
it in my pocket so it doesn't float around the
I
ship.
knew it.
And I say, I've had some run-ins with them in the past.
At this point, Janus sets down his glass and just starts drinking out of the bottle.
Yeah, Janice, you know, just from your background and having worked with other mercenaries, the Assassin's Guild doesn't pop up very frequently, but when they do, they are the best of the best. Hanover, what really makes your stomach churn is the fact that Assassin Guild members are not supposed to also be Purloin Guild members, which means that there's possibility that there are undercover agents working inside the Purloin Guild.
All I can say, you 3, is that though you more than likely broke rules finding this information, it may actually exonerate us from all of this. If we bring this information to the Purloin Guild, they need to look for a mole, someone on the inside. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doubling up on contracts like this.
But what if we bring it to the mole?
We can gauge the reaction of who we talk to. I know people, security level 4, who I doubt would be a mole for any other guild.
But if I were a mole, I would certainly be security level 4 or 5. Is there a 10? I'd be a 10. I mean, I'd want to be the most security level if I'm a mole. And also...
I'm sure you would want to be, but every move security level 4 makes is monitored. And if we're dealing with a security level 4, they would send someone better than a bucket full of raiders to try and blast us in space. Calm down, everyone. We're fine.
I just hold my Teddy Ruxpin a little bit tighter.
And you hear Sis, time is up. 10 minutes complete.
I mean, it's got your social security number on there. Okay, you just...
Brace for docking, and the ship comes out as you see the space station in front of you. You've been here many times. It is a military space station. It's huge. Ships buzz in and about. Sis takes you in pretty much on like an autopilot. As you get close to a free docking station, the ship kind of rattles and thuds and definitely creaks in its current state as a large kind of vacuum sealed tube like sticks to the side of it and vacuums you in. And you pretty much dock. No problems there. And you are greeted as the door opens by a young man, military, of an odd alien race. He's not human. His skin is kind of blue. He wears some kind of apparatus around his neck as if possibly he breathes water, not air. And he, salutes, and he says...
And Dev salutes sort of instinctually with a really good, crisp, proper salute.
Yeah. The sound of kind of a busy spaceport takes over, and he says, so, what are we unloading today?
Stuff. Things.
Not really.
Cargo.
We're repairing and moving on to another station, sir?
Oh, yeah, we need fuel.
Security clearance?
3.
He looks at Hanovi, and kind of boops through a tablet pad that he pulls out of a small one that pulls out of a pocket, and he turns it around to Hanovi for you to put your finger. Yeah. Boom, boom. The HUD reads cleared security level 3 and has a small symbol in the bottom corner noting the Purloin Guild. He does not question. He doesn't actually say anything else. He turns and looks and snaps his fingers. 2 more humanoids run over. They're also wearing spacesuits and begin kind of undoing stuff. You know that they're clearly pumping fuel into the ship and refueling you. And you hear Hanovi a voice down at the far end of this very kind of narrow tubing. And it simply says, "This wasn't where you were supposed to stop, Hanovi. What are you doing here?" Yeah.
I was just going to say I reach into a bag and I pull out a hand that's been vacuum sealed. I've got something to tell you.
His eyes kind of squint as he tries to take in this vacuum sealed hand at a distance. "I see. Come. We must have much to discuss." And this kind of large, broad-shouldered man, you know to be your direct officer in the guild, turns and clicks his heels and begins walking down the walkway in expectation that the 4 of you will follow. And this will be where we end tonight, because literally we can't keep going. It's 10 o'clock. We can't go anymore. Yay! You guys did it.
So good. That was so good.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see where we think it's going. Dun dun dun. Thank you all.
I just want to tell Sis to ping me if anybody
comes on the ship.
Yeah. Okay. Sis says security measures in place. Yeah.
It's just that, while they're refueling the ship, I don't want them to refuel the ship and take our stuff.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they're pretty much just refueling. They know not to bother, but she does put security measures in place, and I would think that Dev and Hanovi have thoroughly told Program Sys to, like, know what that is.
Janus definitely loves that idea.
Yep. All private rooms, like, lock and those kind of things. So you guys are good to go, and if anybody comes on the ship that is unwarranted, you would at least have video footage of such. Awesome. This was awesome. I'm so excited to be playing a sci-fi game. I was telling, I was chatting in our Discord yesterday. I was like, this is the first sci-fi game that's ever run on the Dotbot. It's always been, like, fantasy or other weird stuff. Like, for Pete's sake, I've run campaigns where we played, like, sentient appliances. And I've run campaigns where we played Anchorman in the 1970s. But I've never played a sci-fi campaign on the channel. So this has been super duper exciting for me. Like, super exciting. So let's go around. You guys tell us who you are, where we can find you online. And we will be back next week. And I'll kind of give us a little bit of information. Let's go. Let's actually go backwards this time. Backwards would be Trooper first.
What? Hey, I'm Trooper SJP, and you can find me on Twitter at Academic Foxhole, and you can find me on Twitch at Trooper SJP. And the big thing is that I'm I'm interviewing a fellow gamer called Barantor on Wednesday about his gaming life, sort of an oral history of gamers, and then on Sunday at noon Eastern, I will be running Cthulhu Confidential, noir 1930s Cthulhu. One player playing an investigative reporter, Vivian Sinclair, and one GM, and Cthulhu. Just friends. And I think that what's going to happen in the Purloin Guild will be fine. I'm sure that we're not going to be in trouble in any way. We didn't do anything wrong. It's not like we have hidden, smuggled poorly in our ship these hypercrystals. So I think we'll be fine. Like, I mean, we can take them, right?
Yeah, there's nothing illegal hidden under your mattress.
Yeah, so I think we'll be fine.
It's so stupid, it's brilliant.
And speaking of, Jason, who are you? Where can we find you online?
Right, so you'll find me on Twitter at JasonTDNDDM, and talking all things D&D related. But yeah, this has been a blast. It's been outside my comfort zone with the sci-fi stuff, but it's something I was definitely excited for. Let's put it this way, and granted the cosplay is coming in stages. It is literally the first character I've ever attempted to cosplay. So that, like, hopefully by next week there'll be a jacket, a shirt,
makes my little dot heart warm.
A special hat.
Yes.
Oh damn!
But you'll see it's going to be full on. Hopefully by next week, Janus in all his glory. Well,
we'll have to see what that actually, I guess, finishes out to be. Speaking of fantastic cosplays, Adelaide, you're back. How was it? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
That was phenomenal. This is my first sci-fi game ever, and I'm super excited. I got all fancied up today. So yeah, you can find me on OAdelaide at Twitter. There's OH and my name. I also run a Discord that's essentially like a looking for group on Reddit, but with a much better community called Taverns of Dragons. I've got some links to that on my Twitter. And yeah, I am super hyped for next week. Oh my god, this is just the best.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I love the, like, little bit of dynamic. I knew that the group was gonna be great, but, like, you guys, like, sci-fi usually has these very, like, stereotypes and stuff, and, like, it's what makes the balance of, like, the ship, family life, like, work, and I love the dynamic on the ship. It's just great. It's just great. And last but certainly not least, somebody I was very excited to play with. And I'm hoping, JB, you had a good time. Tell us who you are and where we can find you.
Hi, I'm JB. Also, Drop the Die on Twitter. Not Drop the Dice. Drop the Die. Me and Drop the Dice are friends, but, you're gonna come find me. I make a lot of D&D 5e stuff, so you can come there. Just general tips and advice and stuff like that. This month, I am focusing 100% of my effort onto A, finishing a project I've been working on for 6 months, and B, Patreon. So swing by. We're going to be running a bunch of games and stuff like that. I'm going to be trying to ramp up the Discord, ramp up the Patreon, do all that kind of cool stuff. This is also my first sci-fi game.
Oh my!
And I will never cosplay, but I did listen to 2.5 hours of the Expanse soundtrack while making this character live on Patreon yesterday.
Very cool.
You know, I'm trying to get in the spirit and really bring it, and trying to do a good job and fill in that role of like chief dad officer. So hopefully we can keep that rolling.
Right. Oh man. Well, like I said, I am terribly excited. I've been just so super stinking stoked for this game. I've built playlists and just I'm so excited.
Wait, Dot, who are you?
Oh, well, I'm Dot. I'm Dot. I'm Little Red Dot. You can find me online as such. I'm a GM and a digital storyteller. I get to play with awesome people all over the internet on tons of different networks. And the best way to find me is actually just to follow me on Twitter. Or if you don't really do the Twitter thing, that's cool. You can also hit me up on my Discord as well. Totally chill. We've got a really cool community over there. There's a little something for everybody. And really, more importantly, speaking of sci-fi, there's a place called The Void. Seems to be everybody's favorite thing. The Void is there to listen. Sometimes you just need to shout at the rooftops with no expectation of judgment or care in the world. And you can scream into the void over on my Discord. So yeah, come scream into the void. We all do it probably once a day. It's very therapeutic. And more importantly, tonight we played Scum and Villainy, a game created by Evil Hat Productions. I am a huge supporter of Evil Hat for various reasons, but I just love their products. There's a link to Scum and Villainy. We'll be doing a couple giveaways. I'm chatting with Evil Hat now about like what that looks like. So make sure that you come back and you tune in next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because there's a possibility we may be doing some live giveaways throughout the run of this show, which is very, very exciting. And more importantly, support indie game designers. Like, how many of us here need support? I do. Right? I've got something getting ready to drop, so yeah.
It's super important to me that we mention that Dot has written over 4,000 words about this campaign for us to peruse through and run this game properly. So, like, let's just...
Aww, thanks, friend. I didn't realize it was that many. My goodness.
3,100 in the doc, plus all the stuff on the Discord. More than 4,000 words.
Damn. Well, I'm going to say that there's the trailer. You can actually thank the Patreon for the trailer. And I'll tell you this. All these words that he just mentioned are actually going to be dropped to the Patreon starting tomorrow. So one of the things that my Patreon get at a certain level is access to all the back stuff. I give you access to my character sheets. I give you access to all my write-ups. So my guide for the Byzanti Capuli system and the Purloin Guild and the Purloin Code is coming to the Patreon, as well as like they got first access. Look at all the killer artwork and the trailer yesterday before it dropped today. So for as little as $2. That's it.
Dot money.
Yeah, give this channel money. All of it goes back into the Dot lot. So yeah, and more importantly, I believe this weekend signups for the next round of Sunday Fundays are coming. So if you just want a chance to roll some dice in a one shot and you really have no expectation other than full-on Sunday shenanigans, I have a community game that I run once a month called Sunday Funday. Many people you see here on screen have been a part of it, and Patreon supporters get first access to those signups. This next round for the next 3 months, we're going to be doing some pretty cool stuff. We're going to be playing For the Queen, which is a new game by Evil Hat, card game. We'll be bringing back some Breakfast Cult. There's some Fate Accelerated for you, so lots of really cool things coming, and I think I'm going to play test The Secret of Cats. I've been thinking about it.
I played that for months.
Did you? I think it's going to be the next thing we play on a Sunday Funday.
Yoki kitten who looked like a little werewolf.
I'm so stoked about it. I think, yeah, and I think if it goes well, the next little mini campaign may have to be a cat campaign, because come on. So all of that to be said, lots of ways to be involved. The best way is simply to follow the channel so you know when we go live, and make sure you follow me, if not one of these amazing people, online so that you can also see when we go live next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m., right here for the Purloin Code. Until then, don't do anything Janice wouldn't do.
Don't do anything Janice would do.
Would do, correct. Yeah, much better way to put it. Yeah, yes, correct.
The sad part, and you guys will figure this out in the long run, is Janus is the face of the group.
That's true.
That's the most horrific part.
Oh, man.
And the tragic irony of all of this.
Oh man, oh man, oh man.
You're all doomed.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, I think that's all for us. I can't imagine that there's anything else, so we'll see you guys again next week. Until then, just hang in there, gang. We'll be back. Bye.